Hello, welcome to the United Man. This is the latest Manchester United transfer news now. Going to be getting into some of the deals that seem to be, of interest to the media, let's say. And we're going to be getting through some of the facts and fiction in regards to those. Um, I'll be giving you my honest opinion with regards to whether or not I believe we'll be getting anyone in January. And you obviously can give me your opinion too. So let's get into it. First of all, I wanted to have a look at some list of the names I'll go through that we're linked with so far. So James Maddison, Raul Jimenez, Reuben Neves, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, Isco, Tony Cruz, and but to name a few. Edison Cavani as well. So just in terms of what's realistic, in terms of how realistic I feel some of these deals are, I'll be rating them between A and an F grade. Obviously, F being worse, A being the best. So let's start with Raul Jimenez and Reuben Neves because they seem to be a deal that's come about over the last 24 hours. So with regards to Raul Jimenez is Wolverhampton's main striker, obviously. So with that being said, how realistic is it that they're going to actually let him go? How realistic is it that he's going to want to leave? Obviously, Wolves are in the same situation as us. They're in the same cups as us. Very similar situation in terms of league positions. Also, they're in Europe, same competition as us as well. So how realistic is it that he'd want to leave? And how realistic is it that Wolverhampton Wanderers would want to sell their prize striker? I don't think, in terms of Raul Jimenez coming to Manchester United, is a deal that we would be looking to do. Is he an upgrade on Anthony Martial first and foremost? Is he an upgrade on Mason Greenwood? Is he an upgrade on Marcus Rashford? So he's a different type of player to what we have, slightly different. But is he an upgrade? I'm not so sure. I've seen people saying that Raul Jimenez is an upgrade on Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial on his day will be more effective, I believe, than Raul Jimenez. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he'd be more effective. So I'm going to give this one a rating of E for Raul Jimenez. On to Reuben Neves, his Wolverhampton compatriot. Reuben Neves is someone that I would love to see at Manchester United. I believe he's in that mould of ball-playing midfielder, visionary passer. He's got the intelligence to intercept balls, so he's not having to go busting a gut to go and tackle someone because he can read the game very well. Is Reuben Neves realistic? So in terms of, he's another catalyst for Nuno Espirito Santos's side, along with him and João Moutinho in the central midfield. It's going to be very hard for anyone basically to prize Reuben Neves away from Wolves unless you're breaking the bank. Because not forgetting, Wolves have got money themselves, so Wolves do not need to sell. They're not in a position where they will be forcing to sell, have any need to sell. If anything, they're in the opposite boat where they're looking to buying players to increase their potential of their league position. So for me, I would say yes, Manchester United probably are interested in Reuben Neves. I would also say that Reuben Neves would have interest of coming to Manchester United. But the only way I can see this deal getting done in January is if Man United splash massive cash on it. Now, it's been reported that Ollie has managed to spend in the January transfer window, but it all depends on how much. Bearing in mind, we had a net spend of 30 million in the summer. So for me, I'd give this one a D+. I'd say there would be some interest from Manchester United for sure. I would say that Reuben Neves is interested, even though he's made whispers of, having a preference to play for Juventus one day. Juventus at the moment are not in a position to be taking on any central midfielders themselves. If anything, they'll be looking to release some. So yeah, I'll give Reuben Neves and the potential of him joining Manchester United a D+. Now, this one's come out of the woodworks a little bit with regards to, let's just say it's another Pogba link. So this one is related to Pogba and obviously him leaving the club, him obviously having, the opportunity to join Real Madrid, in all honesty. So Real Madrid, it's been reported, this was in the Mirror, that Real Madrid are willing to part company with one of their main stars plus cash in a deal to swap for Paul Pogba. Now, Man United, I believe, has valued Paul Pogba at £160 million sterling. So in I suppose Europa, in terms of the European currency, that's going to be well in excess of 180 million. So I doubt Florentino Perez will want to be spending that money. So as an alternative, he'll be offering a money plus cash player. Is that realistic? Is that one realistic? Because some of the names that's been bandied about is Gareth Bale. Bale, Bale for me, I still think he'd have something to offer at Manchester United, albeit he's in his not his twilight years by any means at the moment, but technically brilliant, but it's his injury history which would worry me. I don't know if that'd be a deal that we should be looking on doing, but in all honesty, it'd be an improvement on what we have in the wing position. So in terms of Bell coming as part of a potential swap deal, I'd say that'd be a possible C. That'd be a C. Luka Modric is another one. Luka Modric with his increasingly evergreen years, but still technically brilliant, still a visionary passer, still works very hard. I would, but with relation to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's philosophy is, I'd be surprised if this one was to get done. I'd give that one an E minus. Next up would be Isco. This one, Man United has been linked with Isco before in the past, as well as all the others. Isco is one that I know Solskjaer's fond of. Could this be, obviously he's been out of favour for Real Madrid as well in recent times in terms of not starting. But if this one was to go down, this would be one of the more likelier deals, I'd say. And I'd give that one a B. Now, last on the list in terms of this swap deal from Real Madrid is Toni Kroos. Now, he would probably be my favoured on there, purely because of his supreme technical ability. As I say, his passing range and range of passing is second to none. So it's only his mobility, but again, he's positionally smart, reads the game very well. So he's not another one. He's like a Michael Carrick-esque, only better, I'd say. But in terms of, and slightly more attacking as well, I'd say. But in terms of Toni Kroos being that player linked in a potential swap deal for Paul Pogba, this one has some weight to it as well. But I'd more likely say an Isco deal would be more likely. So I'd give that one a C as well. Now, we've been linked with Adrian Rabiot as well from Juventus. Now, this lad, he's got bags and bags and bags of quality, obviously. However, he's what's the word? He's not settled in Italy and his life at Juventus. So ultimately, it just comes down to, okay, are you going to be able to make an impact on a team in a specific position? Because he's so gifted. His build is, what is he, 6'3", 6'4"? So for me, I don't know if that would be something that would be beneficial at the moment, but he'd certainly again be an improvement on our central midfield options. So for me, that one would be, because obviously he only signed for Juventus on a free summer gone. So that one would be a bit strange, but I know he's not in favour there. He's not played as much, but when he has played, he's done well. So we'll see. Just catching up on some of the comments. Jatin said, what do you think about Gomez? With Gomez, I've got strong feelings with this one. And yeah, I'd love to see Gomez involved in the first team more. For those of you that have joined me previously, you'll know that I'm a big Gomez fan. He done really well in the preseason. He had a couple of opportunities last season as well, under Mourinho at the beginning and in Solskjaer later on. Unfortunately, with Angel Gomez, I don't believe he's a favourite of Ole. Not only is not a favourite, I think he's kind of overlooked by Ole, if truth be told. So I can't see it happening if I'm honest with you. I'd love it to happen. I can't see him starting. The game the other day, obviously, against Wolves, where it's 0-0. We're crying out for some creativity. Gomez is sitting on the bench. Ole starts Tahith Chong instead of him. I know he's looking at a specific formation. However, you could have made it work, put Dan James on the right and started Andrew Gomez off on the left maybe. But as it were, he went with Tahith Chong. That didn't work out in terms of effectiveness. For me, Angel Gomez would have been a much better choice technically. There's been quite a few occasions where Ollie's got it wrong, in my opinion, in terms of match selection. Gomez would have been a better fit for that occasion. We were struggling to unlock the door against Wolves. We left him on the bench, and for me, someone was saying earlier actually that basically Adrian Gomez has unfollowed Manchester United. So, you know, we're on all his socials. So whether that means he's going to leave in the summer, it would look like it. Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope it can be rectified, but obviously time's ticking. He could actually sign a pre-contract agreement with any other side now if he wanted to. So yeah, hopefully that's not the case, but it's looking likely. Chimizi says, I guess Man United are not serious on the transfer market. Don't really know what's happening. Do you think any club will allow their players to leave in January? It's a great point. They don't seem to be serious. As I've said beforehand, which really, really riled me actually, the fact that we've got such a massive scouting department worldwide and we don't know what players we're identifying. We're waiting until the transfer market opens up till we actually start making moves for players, which is ridiculous really. So for me, it just doesn't make any sense. Guys, there's seven players in the watch along, so if you make sure you leave a like to support the channel, I'd be very grateful. So yeah, in terms of, do I think anyone would move in January? Yes, I do, but I believe we'll have to pay astronomical prices because it's January, because we've not done our homework, because we've not already got the deals done, like Borussia Dortmund, like Liverpool, like Bayern Munich. We should already have these players signed before the transfer windows, or not signed, the deal can only be completed once the transfer window is open. But like I said, Dortmund's done that, Bayern Munich's done that, Liverpool's done that. Why are we not doing the exact same thing? So we get into the transfer window opening, we're like, who do I want? Who's best for Manchester United? I wonder. Instead of being diligent and doing your work beforehand, bearing in mind if you want a target that you missed in the summer transfer window, you've got from September to the end of December to sign them. Instead of doing that, we decided to just wait and rest on our laurels. And ultimately, now what are we now? The 6th of January, and there's just whispers of players signing. Not saying that we're not active. I believe we are active, but like I said, we're leaving it too late again. We're leaving it too late again. Instead of getting stuff done first and foremost, we're leaving it late. Udi says Bell is United next transfer target. If it is Bell, as I said, I'll give my rating on Bell already. If he is a direct target for Man United, he's an improvement on what we've got, and that's what we need ultimately. We're struggling for goals, we're struggling for creativity, and Bell brings that in abundance. But as I was mentioning before, ultimately he'd suffer with injuries. He's back in the Premier League. It's more physical than it's in Spain, so he'd suffer with injuries. We're already feeling the burn from Pogba being out. So I think we'd suffer from injuries with that one. Udi says Raul Jimenez will sign for United. You reckon that's a done deal, do you, Udi? Like I said, I'd like to see us do some activity, but you know, I'd be surprised if we sign Raul Jimenez, and I don't think he's much. I don't think he's an upgrade on Martial, in all honesty, and he's a number 9. Werrison says, how old is Cruz? I believe he's 29 going on 30. But if someone wanted to check that for me, that would be great. He's not in his mid-20s. I know that much. I know he's close to 30 than he is 25, put it that way. And in case we sign him, will he fit in Ollie's plans, considering he's been talking a lot about rebuilding for the future? So that's a good question, Morrison. But with Ollie, now he has to understand that as United fans and with the financial power that we have, we can't be looking on building for the next 5-6 years. I'm talking, if not next season, then the season after, worst case. So we've got to be making moves like we're wanting to win soon, you know, next year or so, not next 5, 6, 7 years. That's you know, for me, if I'm Ed Woodward, I'm saying, Ollie, you need to fix up. And if I'm Ed Woodward, it's my fault because I've not got a point across to Ollie in the first place. So yeah, if that's what Ollie's thinking in terms of future, like next 5, 10 years, then he's wrong, man. And obviously, like I said, Woodward plays a part in that. So for me, yeah, that can't be the case. Ryan Anthony, how you doing, mate? Mina is Jesse Lingard's agent. Yeah, I've seen that, mate. That only spells one thing: either he's pushing for a new deal or he's pushing for a new club. Simple as that. When you go into the super agent category, you're angling for something. You're not going to leave that. Even if you used to leave the agent you're with, The only reason you're going to go and chase down Mino Raiola is because you're after something, and it's money normally, obviously, to go with his brand or something like that. Udi says United needs to get Jack Grealish and Raul Jimenez. This one, Jack Grealish. So I know quite a lot of Aston Villa fans that are mates of mine, and they're kind of resigned to their season because they've lost their goalkeeper, they've lost their other, starting midfielder, they've lost their striker, so they're kind of resigned to a difficult season for the rest of the season. And I was hearing on the radio that they may as well let Grealish go. Grealish, again, I'm looking on upgrading in our positions, but what we've got to look at is the players we're bringing. They've got to be levels above what we already got. They've either got to be close to Paul Pogba's level, or they've got to be a significant improvement on what we've already got. Is Grealish a significant improvement on what we already have? That's the question I'd always pose. So, for example, if we go to Raul Jimenez, is he a significant improvement on what we've already got? No, he's not. Is Reuben Neves a significant improvement on what we already have? Yes, he is. Is Tony Kroos a significant improvement on what we have? Yes, he is. He's in the realms of Paul Pogba in terms of ability. Is Gareth Bale a significant improvement on what we already have? Yes, he is. So for me, we don't want to just be going with players that are just a little bit just a touch better than what we already have. We want to be taking leaps and bounds in terms of the players that we already have. Otherwise, it's pointless. We're just wasting money, or we're just going to end up in mid-table obscurity ultimately, because we can't either create goals for our strikers and we can't protect our defenders. So we need to be playing smart here. Ryan Anthony, I don't rate Grealish. Now, I do rate him, but as I was just saying, for me, if we do sign these players, they have to be levels above, especially in central midfield. I wouldn't mind if you're buying squad players, but we don't need squad players. We need first team, first 11 players that are going to come in and raise the bar for us. And who knows? Probably may want to stay if he sees us making serious movements. I don't like him. James Maddison is like, what's that? 10,000 or is that 100,000 times better than Grealish? James Maddison would be my preferred choice if I had to pick between Jack Grealish and James Maddison for sure. James Maddison is younger. Well, they're similar in age anyway. Jack Grealish is 24. Maddison is 23. But ultimately, yeah, I'd definitely have, my preference would be James Maddison. James Maddison, though, I don't believe that's something we can get done in January. Why would Leicester let him go? Brendan Rodgers has already come out and said that he's not going to let any players go in January. Why would he want to leave Leicester at the moment? They're in the Champions League spot. They're playing a lot better football than us. They're a lot more consistent than us. I know they've been in a slightly dip of form recently, but they're certainly doing a lot better than we are at the moment. They've got the better central midfield than we have at the moment. I think the difference is that's the difference, really. They've got a much better central midfield than us. Tillmans, Ndidi, James Maddison. But I definitely prefer James Maddison. What else are we saying in the comments, guys? Jack Grealish is from Aston Villa, so he is a good footballer. yeah, that's a good point. No, he isn't, says Ryan. So what if he's from Aston Villa? Yeah, and Ryan, let me tell you something. If you put Ronaldo against James Maddison, who do you think is a better player? So they haven't. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Right. Ryan and Udi going at it in the comments. But yeah, in all honesty, if we could manage to secure 2 players in this transfer window, 2 players, I'd be very, very happy. Reason being is purely because ultimately, let's be honest, we need quality. And if we get 2 players that can come into our starting lineup, it'd be great if it's 2 central midfield players, but if it's 2 players, I believe one of them would definitely be a central midfielder. I do think Ollie's got an eye on a striker as well, because when Martial got injured and we only had Rashford and Daniel James as goal scoring options, obviously Mason Greenwood off the bench, we struggled a lot more. So the fact if we've got Mason Greenwood, Daniel James, Anthony Martial, and Rashford as goal scoring options, and we're still struggling right now, Obviously, when we lost Martial, as I said, we just looked desperate. So we 100% we need to make sure we've got a goal scorer, a number 9 goal scorer, not a wing, not a winging or a winger or a forward as a goal scoring threat. We need a goal scoring centre forward ultimately. So I do think if we get 2 players, one of those will be a central midfielder and one of those will be a number 9 essentially to challenge Martial for that starting spot. But I would, if we was to do that, I'd prefer him to be older, more experienced, rather than going someone for you. So that's why I was sort of like debating about the Haaland deal and all that lot. But anyway, did want to touch on Bruno Fernandes. My chair has gone down a bit, hasn't it? Did want to chat on Bruno Fernandes. His name keeps cropping up. They will keep doing it. I don't think there's going to be anything in it because in initial, obviously, in the summer, last summer gone, when we didn't sign him, there was tons and tons of interest, obviously, coming from the media and some of it from Sporting as well. Ultimately, when it broke, yeah, they were just saying the deal was too risky. And I was perplexed because I was thinking to myself, and I actually said, how is the deal too risky? Makes 0 sense. Ultimately, it came down to they didn't know if he could perform in the Premier League. Listen, Cristiano Ronaldo was at Sporting before he came to us. Not just saying. Not saying he's going to be the same type of player, but he did score 31 goals from midfield and assists on 21 separate occasions as well. So I don't know. He's pretty decent. Do you not think? He can do it for Portugal, by the way. He's a European Championship winner as well, Portugal. Yeah, not forgetting that he was a starter. So yeah, you can't write him off at all as a player. I just don't know why no one signed him. I don't know why Tottenham pulled out, because Tottenham were the closest. Bruno Fernandes came out himself and said, look, I was close to signing for Tottenham. But why no one's actually gambled on him, especially with the price that you could get him for? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So yeah, that one's just bemused me anyway. I'd take a gamble on Bruno Fernandes. He's certainly got a lot more quality than we already have. He's better than Lingard. He's better than Pereira. He's better than Mata. And we're not giving Angel Gomez an opportunity. So for me, he's got to start. Do you guys think that Bruno Fernandes has an opportunity of coming to Manchester United in January? I certainly believe that that's a deal that could get done. It's a lot of the time it was Sporting Lisbon that were sort of trying to drive that train in terms of Bruno Fernandes. If you guys reckon that will come, let me know. But I can't see it happening. I just really can't. There's something obviously about him. You know what it is? It must be Ollie, because for me, that deal was there for the taking. That deal was there for the making, really. And obviously, Ollie must not fancy him either. He must just not like attacking midfielders, I'm assuming. But Bruno Fernandes is not just that. He gets up and down. He battles. So I don't know. He's also a dead ball specialist, which we don't have. As we see Fred sky the ball over the crossbar against Wolves the other day. There's so much we need. I genuinely believe, even if Pogba was to stay, we need a specialist CDM, central defensive midfielder, and we also need a specialist central midfielder, either another box to box to go alongside Paul Pogba, or just a fantastic passer a la Toni Kroos, or if we keep Paul Pogba, bring in Isco as well. But ultimately, just doing nothing. James Maddison isn't going to happen in January anyway. There's a lot of these deals that won't happen. But for me, there's quite a few players that you can go and get. You could force the issue with Christian Eriksen. That would be one of my not favoured deals, but in terms of the money you'd spend, 25 million for an established Premier League experienced player who's a dead ball specialist, very creative. But anyway, yeah, we don't want those types of players. We want to go and risk it all on potential, where we need experience and we need those players to guide us through, which is ultimately why we keep on. At the moment, we just keep on doing the same thing. It's just frustrating. It really is. It really, really is. Right, let's go back to the comments. James Maddison is not a top player like Ronaldo or Paulo Dybala, says Udi. Udi, I believe I agree with you. He's not a top player like Cristiano Ronaldo or Paulo Dybala, but James Maddison has the potential and the ability and is on the right trajectory to become anything he wants. I'm not trying to say he's going to become a Cristiano Ronaldo, but Paulo Dybala is levels below Cristiano Ronaldo, and I don't see why James Maddison couldn't reach that level. Red Devil Weekly's in the house. Yes, yes. How we doing, my man? Red Devil Studio, ESG. What's going on, lads? These boys are my compadres. Go and check out Red Devil Weekly's YouTube channel, and also Red Devil Studios YouTube channel as well. Yeah, we will be doing streams, by the way, as well, guys, on a weekly basis. Myself, Draco, Evolve, Red Devil Weekly, and Red Devil Studio. Yeah, Red Devil Studio hosted our first, so it's the four of us. We'll be doing it weekly. So yeah, Red Devil Studio hosted it, and I loved it. I think Draco Evolve and Red Devil Weekly enjoyed it as well. But go and check out their channels, guys. Make sure you subscribe to their channels as well, so you don't miss out on all the latest as well. Ryan Anthony says we should have gone with Tillmans in the summer. Ryan, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. For me, Yuri Tillmans, he's cracking, man. He really, really is. I feel like we really should have just pulled the trigger on that one, taking a gamble. 35 million for Monaco. Come on, man. You know, but yeah, we don't need good players, do we? We certainly don't need good central midfield players. Udi says, Ryan, who you think is the world's best player if you think you know about football? Ryan and Udi are going at it, man, talking about who's the best player. Red Devil Week said, unfortunately, the question with Bruno Fernandes is why would he want to come to us? Would love for it to happen, but can't see it. Yeah, I can't see it either, mate. In all honesty, it's one of those where for Bruno Fernandes, for example, he's in a league that's not even in the top five in terms of Europe's top five leagues, in terms of Europe's top leagues. He's in a league that's not the top five. So his stats are going to be slightly inflated, obviously, but he still need quality to be churning out those type of numbers. Absolutely. But at the moment, I think he's going to be in a position, Bruno Fernandes, where he's wanting to prove himself to loads of other people. I think he's going to be in a position where he's wanting to say, yeah, I can, you know, mix up with the best, which he proved in the European Championship for Portugal when they won. Okay. Udi and Ryan. Udi and Ryan still going at it, man, in the comments. Ryan, if I put Mbappe against Messi, who do you think will be the best and fastest? And bringing Mbappe and Messi into it now, these guys. Yeah, so Red Devil Studio, my guy G's asking about Tom Cantwell. Again, if we need a squad player, go and get someone where he can, you know, go and get a Tom Cantwell who can come into, you know, this side. He's, you know, obviously he's proven himself to a degree at Norwich at the moment. He's doing well, but 21 years of age. Listen, again, if we go and get two class midfielders, right, and we've got McTominay, Fred, and one other supporting, if Pogba leaves or even if he stays, don't really matter, then that's fine with me. Where you can have Cantwell trying to break into that starting lineup, but ultimately you want two class midfielders up there. Then you want your likes of Fred, McTominay, Cantwell, if he was available, to come in and then go from there. But ultimately, I wouldn't want to bring in someone like Cantwell as a starter. We need someone that's proven. We need someone that's established. We need someone that's going to come in and affect the first team 11 in a majorly positive manner. So for me, Cantwell, yeah, that'd be brilliant. As long as he's coming in as a squad player, someone who's going to try and force his way into a first team, improve himself whilst getting his opportunities as well. But for me, before that, we need to bring in a lot more quality. Right. I'm going through the comments again. Ryan and Udi still going through it. Yeah, Ryan says we've missed out on so many great midfielders the last year. Adrian Rabiot was one. I was saying, why are we not just absolutely throwing the kitchen sink at this one? Because ultimately, he's like a slightly younger version of Paul Pogba, just not as, I suppose, not as established, if you like, because obviously he was having some problems in not playing for PSG. His mum was his agent, or is his agent still. And then obviously when Leonardo came in and took over PSG as the director of football, it looked like it was all going to get sorted. Then his mum was the agent, his football agent, had come in and said, "Nah, it's too late. We're off. Signed a deal with Juventus. Gone to Juventus. It's not quite worked out there. When he's played well, but for some reason he's not starting all the games. But anyway, he's probably going to play a bit more regularly now. He does play, but I'd love to see Adrian Rabiot at Manchester United as a midfield, and that's one that we missed out on for sure. As you said, Yuri Tillmans as well. What's his name? Ingai, the one that went from Juventus over to PSG, central defensive midfielder, ball winning specialist. While we've just left that one to go. Oh man, ridiculous. We have missed out on tons of midfielders. Max Aarons has been sick for this season. He has. I don't see him being someone that we could bring in. And again, it's another young player with potential. He's performing, I agree, but we need established players. We need someone that's experienced, that's been doing it for 4 or 5 years already. We don't really want to go down at percent. We've got so much of that already in our squad. Palmeiras, sup man? How we doing, Palmeiras? How's it going, bro? How's it going? You heard about Smalling wanting to snub United to stay at Roma? Yep, and he's been playing really well for Roma as well, but it's the Italian league, it's not the Premier League. So for me, the Premier League is probably the most competitive league in the world. He's probably finding it easier, a lot easier in Roma. The players aren't as physical, they're not as quick. They're still technically very gifted, but physically he's not as demanding. So that's probably why he's standing out there as well. But yeah, Chris Smalling wants to stay at Roma. That doesn't bother me. He's not good enough for United, if I'm honest. Okay. Right, Red Devil Studio. I get that, bro, but but it's just availability this window. I just don't think we can get the ideal to get the deal done for that type of player this month when it takes us six weeks to get a deal done. Absolutely, that's Red Devil Studio there. No, I completely agree, man. I don't see it being something that, listen, unless we'd identified someone already, which clearly we haven't, or if we have, we just, the most incompetent club that can get any transfer deal done. But if we had, you'd expect that we'd get something done within next week, by next week. But I don't believe we have. So we're going to continue on. Like you said, it normally takes about 6 weeks for us to get one deal done. So yeah, it's just ridiculous at the moment. So in terms of again, the fact that we're coming into this transfer window with Ollie saying, we'll only do a deal if it's right, rather than saying, yeah, we've got 2 or 3 targets identified. We definitely want to get at least one of them in. If we're lucky, we'll get 2. We're coming to the transfer window and Ollie's saying, oh, I'm not sure. He didn't say I'm not sure, but he's saying, if there's a deal done, we'll look available. We'll look at it. And ultimately, it's got to be right for the team. Whereas beforehand, he's saying, yeah, we're looking at 2 players, looking good, but now he's changed his tune as he always does. Right, Red Devil United is the richest club in the world, so don't tell me United get a player. Right, well let's keep the comments clean and off people's mums if we can, mate, because yeah, it's not that kind of party, bro. Red Devil Studio United will get 2 or 3 players, I am telling you, this season. This season, as in January, Udi, or do you mean by summer? Because I can't see us getting 3 players in the January transfer window. Yeah, I'd love that, but no, I can't see that. Well, again, I'd love it, but I can't see it. Shane, any good signings we've done in January window is, well, in the past, yeah, and that's by Werrison there. But our good signings in the past in January, the only ones I can really think of that were successful at United done in January were Patrice Evra and Nemanja Vidic. They're the only 2 that I can really come up with any conviction and say, yeah, they really work for us. All the rest, not that we do much business in January, but all the rest for me has not really worked out. They're the only 2 ones that I can say stand out. They've done really well. They worked out for us, and yeah, United can get the world's best players. Big up United, man. Yes, Tiny Leo. What's going on, Tiny Leo? Joining the party, man. What's going on? Um, who Udi? Whose name you after? What's your name, bro? Give me your name. Who Udi? Whose name you after? What's Udi's after someone's name? Udi, you know my name's Shane, innit? AKA the United man. But I don't know if you're after my name. But yeah. So if we manage to secure two players in this transfer window, I'll be ecstatic, man. I really, 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 really will. Um, I don't know. Will that be the case? I do not know. I'm hopeful. Realistically, do I think we're going to get two players? Maybe one, two. I'll be very surprised. Three, I can't see it. But as I said, if we do get two players in, I can see that being a midfielder, central midfielder, and possibly a striker. I don't think Ollie will go for two central midfielders because in his heart of hearts, I'm pretty sure he believes he's got two of his three starting central midfielders for the next 5 years, being McTominay and Fred, which I don't agree with. No, as I said before, if we were to have Scott McTominay and Fred as your next level down, and we bring in two, brilliant central midfielders, brilliant, and you have Scott McTominay and Fred battling out for a place. Funkadelic Cabbage, United starting reform is what's hurting you guys. Players of the caliber you want don't want to sign in Jan. Summer is when it will happen, but I can't see top players wanting to sign for you. Brilliant point there. The Funkadelic Cabbage, love that name. And by the way, I know who you are. It's a great point, though. I don't know if we will be signing the type of players that Manchester United need to take us forward, which is why I think we'll only sign one central midfielder if we do sign one. And if we do get a striker, it will be someone, I hope, of experience, not another youth prodigy or something like that. We need experience on our side. That's hence why our inconsistent form is so up and down. Okay, Udi, Shane, I'm telling you, United will get two players this season. Udi, I love your confidence. I love your positivity, bro, but I'll be surprised. Listen, if United, I'll tell you what, right? I'll tell you what. If United get two players in this January transfer window, right? Then I will eat my socks live on stream. I will, if we get two. Just mark it down. But that's how confident I am that United are completely incompetent of getting any transfer deals done. And it's showing again. We've come into this transfer window and we're like, who should we look at? Who should we go for? We're doing the exact same thing that we always do. So for me, it's not going to be any different, unfortunately. I'd love it to be. I'd absolutely love it to be. But I've just got no confidence in Woodward. I've got no confidence. If I'm honest, in terms of our whole transfer system and how we work it, I don't really have confidence in our club because obviously Ollie's targets, who he's brought in, Ollie's signings have been spot on, bang on. Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, bang on, fine. But in terms of how we operate, in terms of getting deals done, in terms of actually getting deals over the line, I've got zero confidence, man. I really do. I've got zero confidence in us getting deals done. Tiny Leo, completely agree. The United need a striker, Shane. Do we? Do we need a striker? Do we need a number 9 striker who's going to come in and take Martial's place? Or do we need someone that's going to be a squad player? What type of striker do we need if we need a striker? United will get 2 players. Shame, you must give your WhatsApp number so you can chat to you, bro. I'm a diehard United supporter. Bro, do you know what? Do you know what? I'll tell you what we'll do, because I'm going to start, I think for Valentine's Day, I'm going to look at doing some giveaways. I'll work out what type of giveaway I'll be doing, but we'll be doing some giveaways for Valentine's as well. Just some like Man United memorabilia, something like that. We'll have a look anyway. But yeah, I'm just struggling with Man United at the moment. Really am. I've just got zero confidence in us having the ability to get stuff done. If we get it done, brilliant. What about a centre-back, guys? What about a centre-back? Do you feel like we need a centre-back? Because I'm not that hot on Victor Lindelof, in all honesty. I don't believe... He had a brilliant season last season, but this season he's so shaky. So, he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he is going to be consistent. Well, he isn't consistent. He's just not complimentary for Harry Maguire, in all honesty. So for me, I could see us getting another centre back. Not now, in the summer possibly, but yeah, I'd love to see us get. Listen, my guy to get would be Koulibaly. It's probably not realistic anymore, but yeah, who knows? Anyway, guys, much appreciated for you guys joining me. I'm gonna get off and have another look at what we're doing in terms of the transfer market, see if anything's happened. I'll be dropping some stuff on Twitter as well, so join me on there. I am on Instagram as well. But yeah, obviously, guys, much appreciated for you joining me, and I shall catch you in the next one. Take care.